Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at BANJUL. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. GASH, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. GASH Group also provides the best security company, GASH Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. GASH Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact GASH on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at GASH Global Group on Bertel Harding Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Sarakunda. This is Star TV News with me, Dada Cham. In the headlines tonight, KIANG West Road to be constructed according to President Barrow in Meet the People tour. First junction of Meet the People tour ends. President Barrow returns to BANJUL. The Orphanage Empowering Society Gambia donates to orphanages. Gambia celebrates third edition of Boxing Day. On the international scene, the teenage activist on the mission to end child marriages in Bangladesh. Niger heads to polls in search of first democratic transition. Central African Republic election polls close amid threats of violence. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Excellency President Adama Barrow, on his Meet the People tour meeting at KIANG Manduar, has promised to construct the KIANG West Road that connects several communities as well as mini stadium for sport activities. Maria Madam reports.
This over 40 kilometers road from Sankandi to Kemutu, connecting various communities, have been a major development concern for the people of KIANG West for decades, as it causes them major traveling difficulties. However, the people of KIANG are hopeful for the construction of the Bad and Pompi Road that has been neglected all these years. The road issue was the most talked about development challenge by the people of KIANG West during the meeting. According to the president, the foundation stone for the construction of the road will be laid in 2 months.
abe silol ko non nyanta silol men do kula andum sa faale ko ko paretale nyanta tabiri wo tabiri kala ngabe tabile mba fo kam manduar janko denke mba fo kan kialwes karfula nyaato mbe murona janko denke mballa silol lonjo.
Amidst a cheering crowd, Barrow also added his government will construct a mini stadium in KIANG West, as he disclosed plans to rehabilitate and transform the KIANG West National Park into a modern zoo with different species of wild animals like elephants, giraffes and many more.
Alamanduar jang mina ministry mo lokan jang mina do ko dadila and studio mo na do ko na la paro be mo karsabalti and do ko la be mbeta la janni alla KIANG West National Park nin compagnie o mbulo du nyobulo ko minala be KIANG West National Park mba dokula doku fa pare nde wula ko fewol nadla ye melo ne man so Gambia ko.
Barrow further calls on the people of KIANG to support his government's agenda in developing the country. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Maria Madam.
The first leg of the presidential Meet the People tour had on Thursday ended as President Adama Barrow returned to Banjul from the provinces, with a rousing welcome by thousands of his supporters and well-wishers from the Kalaji Bridge in the West Coast region to the State House in Banjul. Maria Madam tells us more about the return.
After almost 3 weeks of meetings in the rural Gambia, His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, has completed the first phase of his Meet the People tour as mandated by the Constitution of the Gambia. The tour, however, availed the President a platform to have an open dialogue with the citizens of the country on national development matters and also assess the impact of his government's policies and programs on their lives. President Barrow conducted his last meeting at KIANG and finally proceeded home as thousands of his supporters, the governor, religious leaders and government officials lined up at the Kalaji Bridge in welcoming him into the West Coast region with excitement. The welcoming continued from Kalaji to Brikama, Farah to Busumbala, Abuko, Lamen to the Kanifik Municipal Council as people keep chanting and praising the president. While speaking to journalists as President Barrow later arrived in Banjul with a huge crowd, described the first phase of the tour successful as it has allowed him to dialogue with Gambians on national importance and thus know their needs and challenges as well.
Because people came out in their numbers to welcome us with honor and dignity. But one thing was outstanding. People have started appreciating what we are doing. We have dialogue with the people. They told us part of their story and what they need, what they want us to do for them. It is noted by our technicians. Now we are back here. We should sit down and look at what the Gambian people want. They gave us the responsibility. It is our duty to make sure we impact on their life. We work for them and make a difference. I think it was really a success. I'm coming home today. I think this is one of my biggest coming this thing since I came to power. People welcome me in large numbers, and definitely I think I appreciate that. It has touched my heart that Gambians are appreciating what we are doing. I think that's the most important.
The tour will continue in Fonyi on Monday. Maria Madam, reporting for Star TV News.
More than $20,000 worth of items were given to shelter for children and elder orphanage in Barkote as well as Al Khairi orphanage in Busumbala by the Orphanage Empowering Society in the Gambia. The donated items included onion, rice, cooking oil, sugar, tomato paste, tea bags, pampers and juice powders. Our reporter Winter Colley was there and see now files in this report.
Country Coordinator of an Empowering Society, Dauda Cham, in his opening statement at the presentation ceremony said they started doing the donation 3 years ago. He said they go out to seek donation in order to buy the materials for the orphanages. Mr. Cham said the aim of the organization is to change the life of the orphans and give them better advantages ahead. He said they also lecture the children on skills and also provide medical care to them. Cham urged Gambians and most especially philanthropists to open their doors for them at all costs. He said those have many difficulties. Key among them is lack of funds. Cham added that they deem it necessary to support the vulnerable in society. Country Coordinator Child Protection Alliance, Lamin Fati, said he is happy to see young people take up the courage and zeal to help these vulnerable children. He added that the Children Act Article 66 said it is the right of the state to save the children and protect them. Fati said children are abused. Fati said children are abused and that other institutions will seek funds on behalf of children only to find out that they are not properly used. He said they realize that children are being abused in some of the orphanages. That is why they are now thoroughly monitoring the orphanage to deter such from happening. He said those should not have difficulties in having partners to collaborate with. Children issues are national issues, so we should not joke with it. Lamin added the country has good laws in place for children, but these laws are not implemented to safeguard the rights of the children. On behalf of the beneficiaries, Omar Bojan said it has been 3 years since the organization started giving out to them. He commended the group for the good gesture. He said the children are from broken homes and most of them underwent a lot of trauma, so they needed the help. Bojan further said the skills they taught them are indeed useful to the children as they now have something to venture into in the future. Alaji Cherno Suare, CEO of Golden Bee Revolution, said he was inspired by the act of the organization. He said people should not discriminate and neglect the orphans. Suare added that the Quran, Bible and the Constitution of the Gambia talk about the goodness in treating orphans in the rightful ways. He added people are spending their money on necessary things instead of putting it in the right places. TOS is an organization formed in the Gambia in 2018. Since its inception, it has been teaching orphans skills, providing them with healthcare, clothing and food items. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Bindakoli.
As the Gambia celebrated the third edition of Boxing Day on Saturday, Star TV went out to see how it was celebrated in grand style and how people handled the situation with the COVID-19 health regulations. Our signing tells us more.
The goal of the program is to encourage boxing in the Gambia and motivate not only the existing boxers, but Gambian people to venture into the sport of boxing to remove the concept some people have on it, which is that it's a dangerous game. Mr. M.A. Jallo, the Secretary General of the Boxing Association, said they normally celebrate it in grand style, but this year they incorporated some other entertainment activities due to the COVID-19. But with all the challenges, the turnout of the supporters was satisfactory compared to previous years. Mr. Jallo further said that they intend to make it in an annual event which will take place at different places. According to him, boxing is the most disciplined game in the world. He sees the opportunity to urge girls to take part, not to see it as male sport. The president of the Boxing Association also had this to say. The auditor and head of judge and referee, Siaka Sise, also said boxing is a very lucrative sport which provides job opportunities for youths. So in that case, they make sure that they do their work as it should in order to safeguard the boxers in the ring to have fair and clean game. Fode B. Baji, the champion of the game, saw delight and said boxing is a one-man game, so he will work very hard to raise the Gambian flag higher in the sport to a position that the young ones who are to replace him will continue from where he stopped. The event ended by presentation of gifts to participants. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasan.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. JUNCTURE tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at BANJUL. We are also producers of JUNCTURE mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
Globally, 23 girls under the age of 18 are married every minute, and the pandemic is causing a rise in child marriages. The UN forecasts that up to 13 million girls may be forced into marriages over the next 10 years. More on this story by Al Jazeera.
Basically, I like to talk with my mom. So at that time, I suddenly asked my mom that how was your childhood and what is the best memory have you spent in your childhood. So that time my mom was not able to say anything because my mom also get married at a very early age. So just because of from that, I have got inspiration to work on these issues. So then I see that in my community, there is a child firm who are working for this kind of problems. National Child Firm basically a child-led organization where children are working to stop child marriage and also want to create a child-friendly environment where children can enjoy their rights. And more than 88,000 children are working for that. So today I am here to facilitate a training on ending child marriage, and I am also active into ending child marriage in my community. We are doing some kind of orientation with children's parents, teachers. So today me and my team is here to talk with a group of mothers about ending child marriage, because we think that family can play a vital role of ending child marriage. And beside this, we thought that government can play a vital role for solving this kind of problem. That's why we are making some kind of dialogue with the policy makers. we saw that sometimes parents are not able to come to us. So we visit door to door and tell them what is the bad effect of child marriage and how they can play a vital role to ending that. So whenever we get any kind of news of violence, of child marriage or something else, then we call, there is a national helpline, what is 1098, then we call there, and 1098 is connected us with near of any kind of police station. Then we went to the police and file a case, and then they help us and they give us a force to stop or to went to the venue or to solve the problem. When we got the news there is a family who is going to give child marriage, then we collect some kind of information that what is the age of that girl and why they are giving child marriage. So then we went to the family and asked them that why they are giving child marriage. They were saying like they don't want to invest on this girl and they don't want to be at the cost of education. So that's why they are giving child marriage. Then we tried to advocate with that family and motivated them, and then finally we stopped that child marriage. This girl is 14 years old and she is reading in class 5. During this pandemic, in last 2 months ago, in October, this girl was attempting to get married. And somehow, we child from got the news and successfully we have stopped this child marriage. We believe that if a girl get married at the early age, and maybe her childhood story or childhood memory will also destroy. We have a plan or we have a mission like we want to create this platform internationally where every children can frequently work and they will know about their rights and they will work for others' rights, because we believe that children can understand other children's pain.
Niger's officials are counting votes in a presidential election that could lead to its first peaceful transition of power between two democratically elected leaders. Residents venture out to choose successor to the incumbent president Muhammadu Asufu. Former Interior Minister Mohamed Bazoum is the leading favorite in the West African country that has been severely cooped. Al Jazeera Ahmed Idris report from Niamey, Niger.
To stay in power, but to elect a successor. He chose to step aside at the end of his second term, at a time some West African leaders tweak their country's constitution to remain in office. The significance of this day is not lost on the 69-year-old president.
Today is a special day for us. It is also, and most of all, a special day for Niger, which will experience for the first time in its history a democratic changeover. And I hope that this change will be the first step towards other changes in order to solidify our democratic process. I hope this first changeover will enable Niger to solidify its reputation as a democratic country in Africa and in the world.
And this is the man he designated as successor, former Minister of Interior and Foreign Affairs. Bazoum Mohamed is challenged by 29 other candidates, among them 2 former heads of state and a former prime minister. Husseini Adamu says he's voted in every election since independence and is here again to choose a leader for Niger.
Every time, I do this as a duty to my country, but also expecting our leaders will fix our problems.
But for Samira Abubakar, it's the thrill of voting for the first time.
I can tell you it's exciting. It's like no other. I like casting my ballot.
The elections were held amid safety concerns after an uptick in violence killed more than 50 people this month, among them members of Niger's armed forces.
Many voters list security and poverty as their main concerns. Now, attacks by armed groups near the border with Nigeria, Mali and Burkina Faso have killed hundreds of soldiers and civilians in recent years. The local economy has also been hit hard by COVID-19. A fall in the prices of its main export, uranium, as well as a long-term closure of the Nigerian border that many essential goods are imported across.
Officials hailed the elections as a success for the most part.
There are a few places where the elections could not be held, but in many others we were able to organize voting despite security threats.
Results of the elections are expected to be announced within 5 days and ratified by the Constitutional Court in 2 weeks. A winner will need 50% of the vote plus 1 to avoid a runoff. Otherwise, the top 2 candidates will head to a second round in February next year. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Niamey.
Central African Republic officials are counting votes after Sunday's election. where people defy threats of violence to turn out in large numbers. Rebel groups, some of which the government says are linked to former President Francois Bozize, threatened to march on the capital and disrupt a vote they say is rigged. President Faustin Archange Touadera is the front-runner and is seeking a second term. Al Jazeera Catherine Sord reports from the capital, Central African Republic.
UN peacekeepers and Rwandan soldiers patrolling the streets of Bangui, a sign of the tense atmosphere surrounding Central African voters as they headed to the polls on Sunday. Yet in the capital, many seemed reassured by the strong police presence and looked determined to make their voices heard.
Au niveau de Bangui, je sais que la nouvelle sécurité était stable et j'ai pas d'inquiétude pour aller voter.
Puisqu'il y a la présence des forces de l'ordre, il y a au moins de l'espoir et puis c'est un devoir civique.
While the vote unfolded peacefully in Bangui, the same could not be said about the rest of the country, where several incidents were reported. According to UN officials, armed rebels seized election material, threatened and intimidated voters, and prevented several polling stations from opening. Thousands of voters also did not receive their ID cards in time to cast their ballot due to the dire security situation. Yet as polls began to close in Bangui, there was a sense that the worst had been avoided.
Parfois, il y a des actions d'harcèlement pour appeler les populations. Mais dans certains endroits, les populations ont résisté.
Je compatis à mes frères de l'intérieur du pays qui n'ont pas pu voter, mais qu'ils comprennent quand même que c'est ça la vie. Ben nous, au niveau de Bangui, par rapport à la calmie, par rapport à la petite paix qui règne, on a pu nous exprimer quand même en leur nom, quoi.
The week preceding the vote had been marred by a series of violent incidents, including an attempted coup, rebels seizing the country's fourth largest town, and military interventions by Russia and Rwanda. On Sunday, many expressed hope the election could mark the start of a new era of stability for the Central African Republic.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. KIANG West Road to be constructed according to President Barrow in Meet the People tour. First junction of Meet the People tour ends. President Barrow returns to BANJUL. The Orphanage Empowering Society Gambia donates to orphanages. Gambia celebrates third edition of Boxing Day. On the international scene, the teenage activists on the mission to end child marriages in Bangladesh. Niger heads to polls in search of first democratic transition. Central African Republic election polls close amid threats of violence. That's all for this edition of the news. Thank you for watching and join us for tomorrow's news.